beaten Will's defensive posture, he would at the last moment hold back from whacking him. Instead, he would lightly touch the spot where his blow would have fallen to demonstrate the point. He didn't do it with any sense of superiority either. Weapons practice, even with wooden weapons, was a serious part of Horace's life nowadays. It wasn't something to crow about when you were better than your opponent. Horace had learned only too well in dozens of practices bouts at the battle school that it never paid to underestimate an opponent. Instead, he used his superior ability to help Will, showing him how to anticipate strokes, teaching him the basic combinations that all swordsmen used and the best ways to defeat them. As Will ruefully acknowledged, knowing how to do it was one thing, actually doing it was an entirely different matter. He realized how much his former enemy had matured and wondered if the same changes were evident in himself. He didn't think so. He didn't feel any different, and whatever he saw himself in a mirror, he didn't seem to look any different either. Your left hand is dropping too far, Horace pointed out as they paused between bouts. I know, Will said. I'm expecting a side cut, and I want to be ready for it. Horace shook his head. That's all very well, but if you drop it too far, it's easy for me to feint a side cut, then swing up into an overhand. See? He showed Will the action he was describing, beginning the sword in a wide sideways sweep, then with a powerful wrist movement, taking it up into a high swinging downward stroke. He stopped the wooden blade a few centimeters from Will's head, and the ranger's apprentice saw that his counter stroke would have been far too late. Sometimes I think I'll never learn these things, he said. Horace patted him encouragingly on the shoulders. Are you kidding? He asked. You're improving every day, and besides, I could never shoot or use those throwing knives the way you do. Even while they had been on the road, Gillen had insisted that Will practice his ranger skills so as often as was practical. Horace had been impressed, to say the least, when he had seen how adept the smaller boy had become. Several times he had shuddered when he thought what might happen if he had to face an archer such as Will. His accuracy with the bow was uncanny. As far as Horace was concerned, he knew that Will could place arrows into every gap in his armor if he chose, even into the narrow visor silt of a full-faced jostling helmet. What he didn't appreciate was that Will's accuracy was nothing more than an average as far as Ranger's standards were considered. Let's try it again. Will shrugged wearily, but another voice interrupted them. Let's not, little boys. Let's put down our nasty sharp sticks and stand very still, shall we? The two apprentices whirled around at the words. There at the mouth of the small U-shaped gully where they had built their camp stood two rugged-looking figures. Both were heavily bearded and unkempt, and both were dressed in a strange mixture of clothing, some of it tattered and threadbare, while some items were new and obviously very costly. The taller of the two wore a richly broched satin vest, but it was thick with dirt. The other sported a scarlet hat with a bedraggled feather in it. He also carried an iron-spiked wooden club, holding it in a hand that was swatched in a dirty bandage. His companion had a long sword, jagged and nicked along the edges. He flourished it now at the two boys. Come on now, you boys. Sharp sticks are dangerous for the likes of you, he said, and let go a hoarse guttural laugh. Will's hand dropped automatically to reach for the sax knife, and encountering nothing, with a sinking feeling he realized that his knife belt, bow, and quiver were all neatly piled on the far side on the fireplace where he had been sitting. The two intruders would stop him before he could reach them. He cursed himself for his carelessness. Holt would be furious, he thought. Then, looking at the swords and club, he realized that Holt's annoyance might be the least of his worries. Okay, well, thank you for listening to me read chapter 9. If you'd like to listen to me read chapter 10, then please stay tuned. Thank you. Bye-bye.